Hey everybody, it is Kellen Nitro for Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited, coming at you with another Nitro's take. And going into this week, it's kind of the last big week of the year where AEW and NXT will go head to head with quote unquote specials on respective networks. And the first of these two specials aired on Wednesday, December 2nd, 2020. It is AEW Winter is coming, live from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. I watched it up here in Canada on TSN. It was available on TNT in the States and the Fight TV app worldwide for people who indulge in the worldwide living. So here are my thoughts, some of my favorite spots from the night, some of my favorite moments from the night, and you can go back and rewatch this on the Fight TV app for a nominal fee. Somebody tell me how this works. Anyway, you can go check it out on the Fight TV app in their archives if you missed any bit of this as well. And I'm not sure, but I think TSN is starting to explore kind of a PVR option on their TSN Go app as well for AEW Dynamite, where you can go back if you missed the show and watch it in its entirety again. But here are my thoughts. So the show opens with the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal for 2020. The last two remaining in this Battle Royal will face off next week on Dynamite for the Dynamite Diamond. And I love the Le Mans start that they use for the Battle Royal. For those who are wondering what a Le Mans start is, I should say, it's an auto racing term. If you watch old film of the 24 Hours of Le Mans auto race, they had a really unique way of starting the races, and I think some F1 races started like this back in the 50s as well, where the drivers would be outside their cars, the driver door would be open, and then some dude would walk out to the starting line with a starter's pistol or a gun, raise the gun up to the sky, pull the trigger, and on that gunshot, the drivers would run to their cars. It'd actually be across this. The correct way of doing it is having the drivers across the road running towards the cars and into the vehicle, and then they take off and start driving. Well, the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal started in kind of similar fashion with everybody outside of the ring, and all of a sudden the bell rings, and as soon as the bell rings, everybody piles right into the ring, and they square off and just start a pounding at that point. Some notable spots: Shawn Spears gassing Matt Sydal with a DVD, eliminating him on the ramp. Ouch. Then Scorpio Sky bounces Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears, though, nails Sky with the metal slug in his glove that he's been using over the past few weeks on Dark and Dynamite, and Wardlow eliminates Spears, so that rivalry continues. The Dark Order saves Hangman Adam Page from being eliminated. But anyway, Adam Page hits the buckshot lariat, but Matt Hardy gasses Adam Page with a clothesline, so the storyline between Hangman Adam Page and the Dark Order carries on into next week. Then Miro is the Juggernaut, angry because Kip Sabian got gassed, and that basically cleans out the rest of the Battle Royal at that point, because Miro eliminates 4 individuals in a row, and it leaves Miro against Sammy Guevara, MJF, and Wardlow, and Jungle Boy. Well, that's the final grouping, if you will. Also at this time, Orange Cassidy got beat up and laid out on the outside by Kip Sabian and Miro as well. So Orange Cassidy is still in the match at this point, but he's just laid out on the outside. Wardlow and Miro, there's a hoss fight there. There's some that'll be a future one-on-one match on Dynamite for sure. Miro gets eliminated by the Inner Circle, and then it's basically Jungle Boy versus the Inner Circle of Guevara, MJF, and Wardlow. Guevara and Jungle Boy on the apron, some amazing spots there. MJF, though, shoves Jungle Boy and Sammy off the ring post as they were kind of fighting for dominance for a superplex-type maneuver. And it's down to MJF, Wardlow, and Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy, with a flurry of orange punches, knocks out Wardlow and sets up the match for next week. It'll be one-on-one. The defending Dynamite Diamond Ring holder, MJF, taking on Orange Cassidy for the 2020 Dynamite Diamond Ring. That match is set for next week on Dynamite. That would be a Wednesday, December 9th. So check that out. Next contest on the special, Chris Jericho with Jake Hager takes on SCU's Frankie Kazarian. This is the first time head-to-head stemming from the tag match last week, so pretty cool. Fun fact, Tony rattles off at the beginning of this match that this is match number 2,725 for Jericho. Match starts and Jericho lands a codebreaker off of a distraction by Ortiz and Jake Hager, but no cover. A springboard Alabama jam from Kazarian only nets a 2 count. Kazarian going back in time, back into the TNA days, and unleashing the Flux Capacitor finisher, and only nets a 2 count. Boston Crab, but MJF runs out with a towel, and it looks like he's going to throw it in, but Sammy Guevara distracts MJF and grabs the towel. Jericho looks confused, but nails the Judas effect on Kazarian and gets the 1-2 free. Post-match, Guevara and MJF push each other around. Jericho grabs the mic and says, "Hey guys, 7 days to think about this. Either we work together or the inner circle breaks up forever." So another great bit of creative here with Jericho. The runtime for this match was 10:34. By the way, the runtime for the Battle Royal with MJF and Orange Cassidy getting set up for their big Dynamite Diamond Ring match next week is 12:51. And yeah, this was an awesome follow-up to the Battle Royal, which is just pure insanity anyway. This was a really awesome match with two veterans, kind of an older school pace. This looked like a WWF match out of like 2000 or so, or 2001. This was great. Alex Marvez in the back interviews the Young Bucks, says next week they have TH2, and says if TH2 can beat them, they get a title shot, even though they're down to record a little bit. The Acclaimed comes out, and Max does an old school John Cena style disc track. I kind of like these disc tracks that he's doing for his entrances and so on and so forth. TH2 then jumps the Bucks, and SCU then chases off the Acclaimed and saves the Young Bucks. So setting up kind of a tag team situation there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an 8-man tag later on down the line, or maybe this is something setting up for early in the new year with potentially the tag titles on the line in a fatal 4-way tag match or something, because these are 4 teams that have been racking up wins as of late, and it'd be kind of a neat little wrinkle to their tag team division. So still a lot of fun with that. Next match was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, with Rebel taking on legit Layla Hirsch. This is really cool to see Layla get a big-time match on Dynamite. She looked great with an array of strikes and suplexes. Baker hits a sling blade on the floor, like everybody does now, after Hirsch levels Rebel outside. Quick aside here, the sling blade, is that 2020's version of the Falcon Arrow? Like the match that, like the move that everybody, regardless of moveset, hits in their match, regardless. And now it's like, Sling Blade out of nowhere. And, it was a match that, Prince Devitt, Finn Balor made cool, made in vogue at the early part of the 2010s. But it shows up in every single match now at this point. It's like, it's almost as basic as a headlock now. At least I notice it. Throw your comments below. What do you think? But Hirsch fights back with a bicycle knee and a cross arm breaker, but doesn't get a submission out of it. No dice. Baker goes for lockjaw, but Hirsch counters into an armbar again. Here comes the finish. Rebel distracts Hirsch, and Baker hits a twisting neck breaker into the lockjaw submission. Hirsch taps, so Britt Baker gets the win. The runtime for that one is 9:19. Afterwards, Thunder Rosa hits the ring, attacks Baker. Hirsch, though, attacks Rebel, and then it's Pull Apart City. So it looks like it's going to be a tag team match somewhere down the line with Thunder Rosa, Layla Hirsch taking on Rebel and Dr. Britt Baker to continue the feud. So that, this is all setting up rather nicely here for some future weeks of programming for AEW Dynamite. Then this leads to a really high stakes tag team match here, where you had the TNT champion Darby Allin tag with the former TNT champion Cody Rhodes, accompanied to the ring by Arn Anderson, taking on Taz's Team Taz of the newest member Powerhouse Will Hobbs, Ricky Starks, and of course Taz and the Machine Brian Cage accompanying them to ringside. This was a really hot start, and Hobbs is just flinging Darby Allin all around. Turns into Hobbs and Starks just double teaming the hell out of Darby Allin. Cody makes a hot tag and nails Hobbs with a disaster kick. Tries for a crossroads, but no dice on Starks. Allen tags in and nails a coffin drop on Starks for the 1-2-3 for the finish. The runtime for this one, by the way, was 10:32. Thought it was a really passable TV match, and I don't think there was a bad TV match out of this one. One of the AEW referees posted on his social media, Bryce Remsburg, said, real Clash of the Champions type feel leading into tonight. And I'd liken this card to a Clash of the Champions, an old school WCW Clash of the Champions back in the day. It kind of had that feel to it, obviously. So really, really cool. So post-match, Hobbs jumps Darby. Arn Anderson tries to fight off Team Taz, but no dice. Dustin Rhodes hits the ring, but Brian Cage then subdues that. As they hold up Cody to bash his skull in with the FTW title, Will Hobbs is radiating it. The lights go out, and for the first time since March 26th of 2001, the Icon, Sting, is in the ring on TNT television. Sting chases off Team Taz and goes eye to eye with Arn, Cody, and Darby. Did they bring Sting in as a possible mentor for Darby Allin? Maybe Cody brought Sting in to be a mentor for Darby Allin in storyline, but in kind of a reality, I think that this is a great grab. This is a no-brainer grab, in my opinion. If you have a legend like this that's willing to commit to a non-wrestling role, much like the legends that are currently on the AEW roster, the Tully Blanchards, the Tazes, the Arn Andersons, and so on and so forth, as quote-unquote coaches. They're not so much managers as they are coaches of the newer talent. It's... why not? Why not have, your guy that a lot of people have likened to Sting, have the actual product, Sting, as his coach. To me, it was a no-brainer when I seen it. It was a great move. And I'm totally looking forward to seeing the creative out of this. Like I don't see any negative in this whatsoever. And if you see something negative in this, feel free to post it below. But I just don't think you're looking hard enough. If you all of a sudden say that, it's just an older ex WWE guy again coming in. I think it's a little bit more deeper than that, and it's a no-brainer, in my opinion. So, great move, cool to see, awesome pop, even with the limited attendance. And it would have been a bigger moment in a packed arena, but in 2020 we are used to lackluster at this point when it comes to crowds and reactions and that stuff. So this was as good as it gets. I even think that this was bigger than the broken Matt Hardy reveal from earlier in the year, which was supposed to be one of their big reveals or big debuts of 2020. This was huge. We didn't see a rundown for next week, and in a John Moxley interview, he says there is a little extra tonight. There is a little extra going into tonight. A nice little tribute to Pat Patterson at the end. Time to go out there and make him go absolutely banana with a little wink. Really classy move. Don Callis joins the commentary team, so here we go. Not unprecedented, as Callis did that at the pay-per-view a few weeks back. And it is for the AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley, the champion, going against the challenger, Kenny Omega. No sweeper dancers tonight for Omega, so it's kind of more of the old school New Japan style entrance a little bit for Omega with the big jacket again. Omega 7-0 as a single in 2020. Moxley 21-0 going into this one. This is where the records are fun, and yes, this is why they keep the records, which is pretty cool when you get something like this happening. Even something as lame on Dark with Brandon Cutler and Peter Avalon with their respective records right now for the year, but they have 2 and 5 match winning streaks respectively, 5 and 2 match winning streaks respectively. This is why you keep the records, so there's some sort of analytics with that. It's pretty neat. Terminator dive by Omega, thwarted by Mox with a Bossman slam. Big suplex on the outside by Mox on Omega. Lots of play with the barricade on the outside. We see a Kotaro crusher by Omega that only nets a 2 count. Omega locks in a knee bar. Mox grabs the rope. Mox fights back, though, with a couple of German suplexes. And we go to commercial, and we come back from commercial, and Mox hits a paradigm shift after an Omega dive to the outside. Mox throws a couple of chairs into the ring, and it's an old school slugfest, tough guy contest with both guys sitting down and exchanging punches and slaps and such. V-trigger by Omega off the chair. Unreal. A couple of snapdragons, but the V-trigger gets countered into a release German by Mox. Mox finally ends the sequence with a lariat, and then there is a second paradigm shift by Moxley that only nets a 2 count. Mox then goes for a tope, but Kenny meets him again with another V-trigger. The V-trigger counter in this match went through the roof. He kept hitting L1, we'll put it that way. Had save finishers up galore here. Put in the cheat codes. A V-trigger to the back of Mox's head right after that, and then into the Tiger Driver 98, but Mox kicks out. Ripcord V-trigger only lands a 2 for Omega. Paradigm shift into the heaters on ringside because it was a very cold night in Jacksonville, so they had things that looked like speakers, but they were actually kind of more of sideline space heaters, if you will, for a football team or whatever. Well, they're right next to TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville where the Jags play, so they just probably wheeled them over from there. Mox is laid out, and the docs check on Omega, and Don Callis hits the ringside from the commentary position at that point, thinking, hey, my guy's hurt, Omega's hurt, Mox pushes down Callis. Omega grabs the mic that Callis had in his hand that he grabbed from Justin Roberts, basically saying, hey, can you stop the match? Hey, let's put a pause to this. My guy's hurt. What's going on? Omega grabs the mic and hits Mox with it, and that quote-unquote busts open Jon Moxley as the Crimson Mask starts to form, and 4 consecutive V-triggers into a one-winged angel nets the pin, the 1-2-3 for Kenny Omega. There is a new champion in AEW. It is Kenny Omega. The runtime for that one is 28:31. Post-match, Callis rushes in and whisks Kenny out of the building, and Don Callis says you'll find out more next Tuesday night on Impact. Is Impact and AEW working together? That will be the big news story going forward into next week. If Impact has signed a loose agreement, much like the NWA has done, like a gentleman's or a handshake deal with AEW and some sort of talent, either exchange or another place to showcase their talent and their product, then it's definitely a plus for them, because AEW is arguably the hottest brand right now in sports entertainment and wrestling, with kind of the stagnation of WWE. Granted, WWE gets the big numbers just because I think SmackDown is the big driver of it, and it's due to Fox's advertising budget because they just advertise the hell out of that show. And quite frankly, actually the creative on Fridays for SmackDown recently has been better than it has been throughout the year. So it's kind of picked up a little bit during the fall. And, I'm not going to count Raw because Raw is still terrible from front to back. But, hey, this is probably the thing. I haven't looked at the ratings as I record this on December 3rd at about 12:30 in my time zone right now, Mountain. Alvarez and those guys haven't released the ratings yet, so I'm anticipating seeing that this afternoon probably for the first time or whatever, or they may have and I just haven't seen it yet. But with those guys, but I anticipate the show did better than NXT did, and yeah, this is a I'm not going to say a nuclear bombshell, but if Impact comes aboard the AEW family as, let's say, a developmental territory or a developmental promotion to AEW, then that is huge. That is massive. I don't think they will. I think that this is just kind of more of a loose talent exchange agreement. But we've seen the dream matches flying over the past 24 hours or so. Dax Harwood basically tweeting the North. That would be pretty cool, seeing FTR take on the North sometime in 2021. I would like to see MJF and Ace Austin go one-on-one. I think that would be a spectacular contest of two of the best heels in each company going head-to-head that are kind of like heel types. See them try to out-heel one another. That's kind of a dream match that I got. And, yeah, we look forward to it. We wait and see. But, yeah, the Sting acquisition to the multi-year deal, it sounds like. This was a big episode of Dynamite. Winter is coming, delivered on all accounts. There was a quick little botch, though, at the end of the show. As they were going off the air, Eddie Kingston grabs the mic, says he wants Archer before next week, but the show fades to black. Phenomenal TV main event, no overrun. And like I said, we have a new AEW champion with Kenny Omega finally capturing the AEW championship. And what's his agreement right now? Are we going to see him on Tuesday nights on Access TV, potentially defending the AEW World Championship over an Impact against guys like Eddie Edwards and, the Eric Youngs, the Rich Swans of the like? That would be pretty epic as well. So, in case vice versa, is Rich Swann going to come over to AEW and defend the Impact Championship against guys like Mark Quinn, Sammy Guevara, so on and so forth? Like, this is just it's a whole new universe of options here with guys. So I will give Winter is Coming the rare 9.5 out of 10. I did not see very much wrong with this show throughout. I thought that there was slow burn that led up to two huge marquee moments on the night, and they built the show around those two huge marquee moments. And that's how you do a wrestling card, folks. That's my opinion, but I loved it. All right, folks, later days. Happy wrestling watching. We'll catch you next time on the channel. Actually, we'll catch you this weekend on the channel, because the next up will be a Nitro Stake coming out in the 24 to 48 hours following War Games, NXT War Games. Going to watch the NXT weekly show here over the next, like I said, 24 to 48 hours for myself here, and see who that fourth member really is for Shotzi's team, as Team Shotzi will take on Team Candice in the 8-woman teams of 4 War Games extravaganza. All right, later days.